Another day, I was sitting under a tree outside Bethesda, surrounded by people who had brought their sick to be healed. As always, they marveled at the return of life and health to these people, and wondered how such miracles could be done. Again, I tried to make them understand the power of faith. In the Gospels, it has been stated, I said that if a man had faith the size of a mustard seed, he would be able to move mountains. This statement is a misinterpretation of what I truly said, and it reveals how little my disciples and gospelers understood my teachings when we were on earth. If a person were to have faith the size of a mustard seed, what does that mean? How can you measure faith in such a way? Faith is faith. It is a power of total conviction in the mind, possessing the mind, and cannot be restricted in size. Faith arising out of your need to believe in something, because such a belief will serve your purposes in some way, can be powerful and strong, but never could be estimated in size. Belief is even stronger. Belief is the offspring of hearsay and logic. Because you have heard something and been convinced that what you have heard or read is true, you develop a deep belief in what you have heard. You believe in a total, complete way which defies contradiction. I was constantly telling the people, believe you will receive, and you will receive. However, I knew at the time that it would be well nigh impossible for the people to ever have the faith which would cause miracles to happen, since no matter how much I might explain truth to them, they would still never have the intense knowing given me in the desert. But now, as I relate in small measure the story of my sojourn on earth in Palestine, it is with the intention that you, my reader, will begin to perceive and understand the knowledge I was given during my enlightenment. My intention is to give you knowledge. Hearsay is when you are told something, but you cannot really prove it is true. Knowledge is when you are told something or read something, and because what you have now heard or read complies logically and realistically with all related items of knowledge already in your mind, and you can understand and believe it in a realistic, logical way, the new information becomes knowledge. You know that what you now know is true. You have a sense of conviction. Up to this time, some of you have had faith in Jesus Christ, but you have been like precocious children. Your faith has been partially blind and accepting, yet interwoven with much doubt. Therefore, whatever you needed to be done for you, you depended on Jesus for the work to be accomplished. Whereas, in fact, much of what you believe you have derived directly from Jesus has been your own faith in Jesus made visible in the form of things asked for. While this childlike faith is very important to your well-being, those of you who are capable of moving onward on the spiritual path to perfection must now reach a deeper level of true knowledge of the relation between mind and matter. Without this foundation, people will continue to flounder in religious myths and will be locked into the misery of the human condition. When I was on earth, I spoke truth to the people, but it was continually misinterpreted. What I really said regarding faith was this. You see this great big tree? It has grown out of the tiniest seed imaginable. See the vast trunk and branches and foliage? All that enormous growth has come out of a small seed. How did such a thing come about? From whence came all the wood in the tree and the foliage which adorns it? Is not this as much a miracle as are the miracles I perform for you day after day? Is not the growth of this tree as much the work of the Father as the healing which takes place in sick people? I ask you, what is a seed? Can you tell me? No, you cannot, but I will tell you. It is a tiny entity of consciousness knowledge. It is the consciousness knowledge of what it will become. It is a fragment of consciousness drawn from the divine creative consciousness. It is a fragment of mind power drawn from the Father mind power, which, when planted in the earth and watered by rain, will begin to clothe itself with the visible matter of which it possesses knowledge deep within itself. This knowledge is true. It is firm. It is strong and undeviating. This self-knowledge embodied in the seed is a conviction in consciousness. All life forms arise out of this one-pointed self-knowledge, a conviction in consciousness. This conviction in consciousness is what separates the inanimate soil and rocks from all that lives and grows upon the face of the earth. Where there is no conviction of consciousness or knowledge of identity, there is no growth. The consciousness within the soil and rocks remains consciousness in a dormant form. Therefore, if you could believe in what you ask for as powerfully as does a mustard seed know its own identity, you would be able to do anything you wanted to do. If you could carry within your mind a seed, the perfected plan of your most heartfelt goals, and know beyond all doubt that it can grow and come into perfect fruition, you would see this wonderful seed take on a life of its own, which would presently manifest in your life. And you could surely move the mountains in your lives, those mountains which stand across your path and prevent you from achieving all that you would like, mountains which, in times of recklessness and evil thinking, have been created by yourselves. If you only understood creation and existence, you would be able to live lives of total freedom, limitless achievement, and transcendent joy. Seek to understand, and you will find that little by little, understanding will come to you. Knock on the door of the universe, giving access to God, the universal Father Consciousness, and eventually you will find the door swinging open, and you will have entrance to the secrets of the world. Only believe, and you will receive. I also reminded them at times, only those with pure minds and hearts will accomplish these mighty things. The wicked may flourish for a while, as have kings and marauding armies, and others hoarding iniquity in their minds. They have been permitted to do their work for a while, since certain good will also arise out of the evil. But eventually they fail, and their names are reviled by the rest of the world. Therefore, as many of you as would succeed, examine your motivations. Desires born solely of selfish longing for wealth or comfort eventually end in disappointment, sickness, and death. And I say to you who read these words, let no one dare to deny the truth I speak until they too have walked the path of self-renunciation, which I walked on earth, and reached the same union with the Father and the heights of incontrovertible knowledge and understanding as I possessed. When you have achieved all this, you will no longer have any desire to deny the truth I speak to you, but will be unable to restrain yourselves from joining me in teaching your fellow men. Until that time, hold your peace and let no man know your ignorance. How often throughout the world people gladly embrace my teachings as being highly moralistic and the most perfectly formulated guidelines to good behavior and daily living. However, they add quickly that the stories of miracles should be discounted, since such aberrations of natural laws of the universe are not possible. This type of thought is building barriers to the future progress in spiritual scientific development of which the human mind is capable. In fact, I did not come to earth to introduce a new religion or higher moral code than that given by Moses in the Ten Commandments. My purpose was to bring a new perception of God as Creator and understanding of existence itself. Out of that knowledge would come a new way of life. The correct attitude towards my mission on earth in this third millennium is to acknowledge that the miracles I performed are beyond the capabilities of the average human being at this time. However, such miracles were examples of what could be achieved in the future when people's minds were fully imbued with the true knowledge of existence, and also, through faith, meditation, and prayer, fully attuned to and imbued with universal life, love consciousness.